I thought I'd do something different today. We're going to have a little quick talk about iodine, but then I'm going to show you my solar panels. Hello everyone, Semi-Retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. I'm also asking you to join me on my off-grid journey as I head down to Texas. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. If you're returning to the channel, it means a lot to me that you choose to spend just a few moments of your day with me. I would like to ask y'all to help me out just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these things are absolutely free, and they help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I am 61 years old, and I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40. And that's all thanks to the carnivore diet. Our brief conversation about iodine. We all know it's necessary, and I think we each need to try the experiment, because I've had a bottle of Lugol's 2% sitting around on my counter since I started, because Dr. Berry told me to. And I've been including a couple of drops in my first cup of coffee for the last 2 weeks. And I personally can't tell any difference. Now, luckily, all the things we've heard about iodine, it's bad for your thyroid if you have Hashimoto's or some other thyroid condition. It's bad for this, it's bad for that. Not really. You can go watch Dr. Berry's video on that if you need more information about it. The reality is that, as I understand it, if we get a little bit too much iodine in our system, we just pee it out. It's no big deal. But having too little iodine in our system can cause real big problems. Now, I know there's a little bit of iodine in eggs, and I eat a lot of eggs. And there's also iodine in some of the other cuts of meat. And I think because I've been on basically a ground beef and eggs diet for so long, that I'm getting plenty of everything I need. But I tried the experiment again for a couple of weeks. I'm probably going to keep adding it just because I've got the bottle of it, and a couple of drops in my first cup of coffee in the morning or whatever else I decide to drink. It doesn't hurt me. And just in case, it's not too, I don't see any problem with it. But again, I would experiment for yourself. A bottle of Lugol's 2% is not that expensive, and you only use a couple of drops. If you know you're iodine deficient, you'll probably want more, but there are lots of other doctors out there, actual doctors, that know a lot more about this than I do. So I would follow their advice. In fact, I believe Dr. Berry just did an interview with a doctor. A gal, I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, but she's very knowledgeable about this. Or for $5 you can join Dr. Berry's group and ask Nisha, who has Hashimoto's, and she still takes iodine every day, as far as I know. But anyway, let's get on into the off-grid stuff here. First things is Craig always has a sharp eye. I have the hood of my truck up. I've got one of my power stations, and my battery charger is pulling 122 watts. I hope you can see that. It's one of those, I got rid of my old charger and went to a new one last winter because I still had one of the old black boxes that just This thing has a lot more technology in it. It started off just pulling 15 to 20 watts, and now that it's been running for a while, it's pulling 122. So it does some kind of conditioning with the battery. I haven't had any trouble all summer long, but those of you that have been watching for a while know that last winter I had a real problem with my truck draining down. I'm sure it's got a slow drain in it, and I've still got a kill switch I'm going to install on the negative battery cable, because I expect my truck to be sitting for long periods down in Texas. But it, over the summer I haven't had any trouble because it's been, started and run 3, 4, 5 days a week. So now that I'm back down to just going to dance class on Tuesday, I came out for dance class last Tuesday and it wouldn't start. So I used my quick little jumper, but then I had to use the jumper again over at the dance studio at home. So I decided to throw some charge on the battery. It's down to, my big battery's down to 95%. That's not one of my big ones, that's just 1,000 watt. It's down to 95% in an hour. So I suspect my truck used to take the whole 500 out of my jackery. So I actually expect by the time this thing gets done with its charge cycle, I expect it to take a little more than 500 out of that battery. But anyway, let's get on over here to the solar panels, and I'm going to kind of do them in order that I bought them. This was my first solar panel right here. I don't even know that Paxos is still around. Paxos was the company. It's a Rockman Solar. It's a 120 watt foldable solar panel. As you can see, its output is 120 watts at 18 volts. But this one came in a package with that first little 250 watt battery that died on me back in that power outage. So I got rid of that, but kept the solar panel because it still worked. I mean, solar panels, as long as you don't do something stupid, should work for quite some time. I know they do eventually wear out, but I haven't used it that much, and you can see there's no damage on it. The next solar panel I bought, this, you can see that it's older technology as well, is the original Jackery Solar Saga 100 version 1. They have since replaced this one with newer technologies, but I got this one at about the same time I got the Paxos, and I got this one with my Jackery 500 that is now my oldest power station. And you can see the cells on this thing are a lot bigger. This thing is not as efficient. Both of these, the Paxos and the Jackery, the most I've ever seen going into a battery out of these, even though it says, this one says 100 watts at 18 volts, and that one is 120 watts at 18 volts. The most I've seen the Jackery put out is about 78 or 79, and the Paxos will put out about 85 to 90, depending on the angle of the sun. You can see all of these foldable solar panels have these kickstands on the back that make setting them up at different angles very easy. But now we'll move right along. These are my two newer ones. This is the EBL portable solar panel. It doesn't have its markings on the front for what it puts out, but it's a 100 watt foldable solar panel. It came in a package with that. When my little yellow 250 watt battery crapped out, this and the 350 watt EBL battery came in a package. So this, if you compared the price I paid to what they're charging for those 350s now, I got the solar panel and the 350 watt power station for just about $50 more. So I really only paid, you can look at it as I got a discount on the whole package, or I only paid $50 for this solar panel. And then this is my newest one. This is the Renogy 200 watt foldable solar panel. And you can see, if you compare size to size on the panels, each panel on these foldables is supposedly about 50 watts. So this one folds out into 4 sections. And it has 4 kickstands on it. They're not all the way out. You can actually, this one has a wider range on the kickstands for adjustments. And I haven't actually tested this out, but unlike the other foldable solar panels that have their own proprietary end on them, and I have to use adapters to get them to go to anything else, the Renogy comes with the standard solar connector built into it. So you can connect it up to anything. Let me show you what I mean by standard solar connector, because we're going to come back here to these. Oh, excuse me. But these are the standard solar connectors. I've still got a plug-in attached to it for plugging it into, I forget which battery that one goes to. But this one, and these are just Bouge RV hard solar panels. 100 watts each. This is a standard solar connection. That's the positive, that's the negative. And you can adapt those to pretty much anything, because while the older power stations like the Jackery and my original 250 watt that came with that one, they have proprietary inputs on them, and the connector on the back of each one has those proprietary inputs. Both the EBL and the Renogy and the hard panels come with just the standard solar connector. So you can hook them up to anything. Of course, the EBL, the Renogy didn't come with any adapters, but I already have all the adapters I need. But the EBL actually came with a whole package of adapters to adapt it from standard solar to pretty much any connection you can think of, including Jackery's proprietary input. So I should be able to, even if I don't use the smallest solar panel, I should still be able to use its adapters on anything else I want to plug into any of my power stations. And of course, as we've already talked about, those are my standard. These are what you're used to seeing when you see solar panels. These are hard panels. They're Bouge RV 100 watts. And they actually did a very good job. I had them daisy chained together, running into that big power station, not the Jackery, but the other one. I'm trying to remember the name of it right offhand, but I can't. But I ran those two together, and they did a really good job of charging the big power station when we had that big power outage from the trees coming down in that windstorm back in the 1st of August. But as you can see from all of the shade on my front yard, I spent a whole day moving them from spot to spot to spot just to get a little bit of charge into the batteries. So these two trees make it very, very difficult to run solar here. I won't have that problem once the tree service gets here, because as you can see, these big pieces down at the bottom look like they're doing all right. But as we look further up into the tree, you can see there's a lot of dead, cracked branches where the leaves have prematurely turned. This one not so much, but most of its branches are gone. This one over here is much worse. You can see the damage on those branches up there. And all of the dead branches up in the middle of this tree. That's why I've made the decision to take these 2 trees out. But, I mean, you can see this thing that was folded down has a bunch of dead leaves on it. So this main branch here is cracked somewhere inside, making the left side of it not get water to keep the tree alive, but the other side is still okay. But I'm looking forward to getting those out of here. But this is my solar panel collection. So if we do some quick math, 200 on the hard panels, 200 on the Renogy, 100, 100, and 120. That's 2, 4, 5, 6, that's basically 700 watts of solar. Now, I don't expect to get a full 700 watts out of that because, as we all know, as solar panels get hotter, they get less efficient. But for the first couple of years, I'm going to be down in Texas in the winter, so the temperatures should not be nearly as blazing hot. I'll need to install a bigger, more robust system to make up for the power loss when the panels get hot once I move down there permanently. And flip this back around so I can see you guys and you can see me. I know this was kind of a different video, but as I get better at showing you stuff for Texas, I hope that attracts more people to the channel. Now, I talked about all the free stuff earlier. I do have some paid links down below. I do want to thank Tom at this point. Thank you very much, Tom. He found my Buy Me a Coffee link before I even announced it. So if you want a continued month-to-month support of the channel, you can click the join button down below or hit the first link in the description, and that'll take you to signing up for the channel membership. There's not a lot out there yet, but as I get moved down to Texas, I'm planning on basically throwing all of my raw footage onto the members only channel, and then later, a day or two later, putting out the edited video. What I plan on, I haven't come up with a full plan on Buy Me a Coffee, but what I thought I would start with, since my trailer is white, let me turn this back. Since my trailer has this big white surface, I will get a permanent marker and write everybody's name that donates to Buy Me a Coffee on the side of the trailer, so that as I'm standing here finishing up my videos, their names will be visible behind me. I thought that was a pretty good thing to do, because I do want to, I'm planning on setting up the recurring thing on Buy Me a Coffee, but for right now, it's just, if you want to make a little donation to the channel, you can go out there, hit the little donation, and it gives me a little bit of money to do some stuff with, I hope. You know, $5 is a lot of money to somebody who's on a fixed income, but don't feel like you have to. I'm just letting, because I do get quite often a lot of people that are like, well, I don't like PayPal, and I don't really want to join your memberships for a long period of time. This Buy Me a Coffee is a way you can support the channel on a one-time deal, and you'll get your name written up here on the trailer. As I get more permanent structures down in Texas, I expect to have naming contests for, you know, what we're going to call everything down there. The first, you guys can be thinking about this, what we're going to call, first off, the composting shed that I'm going to build. You know, obviously we could just call it the poo pile or something like that, but whatever you guys think. But anyway, I've been rambling on way too long today. So I hope you enjoyed seeing all of my solar panels, to know that I do have, it'll take some daisy chaining and some finagling for the wiring, but I think I do have enough solar to keep my refrigerator and my freezer running non-stop, along with powering my power tools, recharging my camera batteries, running my computer, and the all-important coffee pot. That's what I've got for you today, folks. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.